Hi girls! In this video we're going to review a piece that we did a listening activity with and that we did some movement with it before spring break. So this is just a quick review. Do you remember the music clock that had every hour a king would come out of one side and a queen the other side, and they would sing to each other while they marched forward? Bum 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 bum, and then we would bow and kiss. Bum bum ba bum 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 bum, and they do it again. Bum 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 bum. Do you remember some of the other parts of that clock that came out during the hours? I'm listening to what you have to say. Maybe some of you are saying, the court jester that came out and acted silly to entertain the court, the kings and queens and all of their courtiers. Good. What else? What else was in that piece? Am I hearing brave knights who defended the kingdom from evil? Yes, that's true. That's part of the song. And there's one more. Remember it? Yeah, it was the court musicians who played for the king and queen. That's right. Okay, so do you remember there was a pattern to this piece? What part kept coming back over and over again in there? You don't remember? Okay, well, let's listen to it and we'll watch the visuals to help us jog our memories. Okay, listen. Here's the first part. Here come the king and queen. Here come the king and queen. Here come the king and queen. Okay, next part. Those silly jesters entertaining the court. Juggling, telling jokes, falling down on accident or purpose. What part comes next? King and queen part, that's right. Here come the king and queen. Here come the king and queen. What was next? Yes, brave knights and soldiers. Yes, sounds very brave. I hear a drum, like maybe someone's marching. Yeah, what part's coming next? Yeah. Here come the king and queen. Here come the king and queen. And the last different part? Court musicians. Right. See an oboe, a lute, tambourine, some kind of cello. Okay. Yes. Oh, that is such a fun piece. Let me pause that before it plays again. Okay, so girls, there was a pattern there. This part was kind of sandwiched in between the different parts. So no matter what, this one was coming next, if it was a different part. Okay, so there was some stuff at the beginning, before I lifted up those pictures, that kind of, let's listen to it. Let's see if we can figure out what we should call that part. Just this part, before this part even, the beginning part before the king and queen part starts. Let's see. Right there, before it started. That was the introduction. It introduces the piece. You know the tempo or how fast it's going to go. You know what kind of instruments you're going to hear. You know if it's major, which sounds happy, or minor, which can sound sad or spooky. You know the character of the piece. You know, it kind of feels like, you just kind of get a feel for what you're going to hear. So that came at the beginning, for sure. Introduction. And there was something at the end. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to scroll all the way through. So that's the last A section, or the last King and Queen section. Okay. It's still the last King and Queen part. Right here. That right there. That was different. We hadn't heard that yet. And it was kind of wrapping up the song, making it exciting. And that is called a coda. C-O-D-A. And that's an Italian word that means tail, like the tail of an animal. But it's used in music to represent kind of like just a little ending on a piece of music that's exciting. It wraps it up and puts a nice bow on it, so to speak. So here's what we're going to do. I've got a blank sheet of paper. It's a little bent, that's okay. A blank sheet of paper. And I'm going to write down what happens as we listen to it once more with different colored markers. So every time we hear this part, musicologists that study musical form in college actually use the letters of the alphabet. So for this one, we're going to call it the A section. And every time you hear it, I want you to say to me, Miss Hammond, write an A. And I'm going to put it on my sheet of paper. And then if you see a different one, we're going to use a new letter. So this would be B, right? Okay, very good. Okay, let me get this going here. And you girls are going to tell me which letter to write. I'm going to rewind. Okay. But remember, we don't put a letter for the introduction and for the coda. We'll just say those words there, introduction, coda. Okay, you ready? There we go. Introduction. Definitely, we already know that, right? This would be, right, A section. I'm going to use a pink marker, and I'm going to write A on my sheet of paper. Like that, okay? There's a different part. The gesture part. So we're going to call that what letter? What comes after A? B. I'm going to write that down. Good. Which letter should I write? A. Good. I'm going to use that same pink marker. Okay. I think we have a change coming up. Let's listen. Sounds a little different. Yes. Good. Yes, it's a new part. Since we've already used A and B, we're going to use C, different color. Okay, I'm writing that down. Okay, what's next? A. That's right. Here come the king and queen. My pink marker. A. Okay. New part. It's D. So I'm going to use a blue marker. And of course, we know what happens now, don't we? That's another A section. Okay. Trusty pink marker. And then here is the coda. C-O-D-A. Coda. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I wrote on my paper so you can see how it looks. How many times does the A part happen? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 A parts. And then we have a B, a C, and a D. That's 3 different parts. And before, of course, we have the introduction. And then at the end, we have the coda. But what I really want you to know, let me get my marker here, is how common this pattern is in music, especially older music. It's very common, and it has a name, and I'm going to write it above. It's a fun word to say, too. This form is called Rondo, R-O-N-D-O, Rondo. And whenever you have an A section that keeps repeating in between different parts, that's what you got. Okay, for this last time, I want you girls, not only should you be doing the movement, but can you find somebody in your family to teach it to? Do you remember what we did in class for the introduction when we were moving? Well, if you don't, I will, let me see, let me move my chair back. I'll remind you, when you hear the introduction, oh yeah, I got my Princess Leia shirt on, just love it. When you hear the introduction, you march in place, in a circle. And then same thing for the coda. Then of course, when we are doing, here come the king and queen, I want you to walk around in a room, being very regal, darling, and wave to the commoners. Don't really touch your mouth, of course. We're just pretending. Like that, yes. Okay, and your feet move around. Oop, I hear a fire truck. Okay, and then the next part, the jester part, you freeze your feet. No more walking around. And then you act goofy. Try to entertain the kings and queens. Then, of course, we do this again. Marching around, waving to the commoners. And then here, be careful though. Well, I want you to gallop. Can you inside gallop in a safe way? If not, just pretend that you're on a horse. And don't fight your brothers and sisters. Just pretend. Okay, and then we do that part again, right? Walking around, doing this. All right, and then for the D part, we freeze our feet again. And you play your favorite instrument without making any sound. So like, if you love the flute, you can play the air flute like this. The drums. Trumpet. Whatever you like. Okay. Then, of course, the last A section where we walk and wave. And then here's the coda again, where you stand in place, march, and turn slowly. Don't spin like a ballerina now. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? And actually, I want to tape this part up here so you can see it and follow. All right. Put it under my unicorn. There we go. Okay. Can you see that? All right. Here we go. Get the music going. All right. Just like that. Okay. Because that was the introduction. Here's the B section. What's coming next? It's the A again. That's me galloping on my chair. Oh, you know what's coming next. Oh, wait, no, there. And last but not least, new section. Freeze your feet and play your favorite instrument. You know what's coming next. or the coda. Spin in your place. Very nice. All right, girls. Whoop. No, there we go. Remember, that is a very common musical form called, say it with me, rondo. Great job.